Hey, hey everybody. So I was just something on my mind. I was thinking maybe I could, kind of put like a table over here and, sit over here essentially. Just because, that's like the window, you get to kind of see outside. And plus, um, I just feel I want to get this whiteboard in the background, but it's just so hard to kind of get this whiteboard in the background with me being in the frame and it right behind. It kind of feels like this whiteboard has to either be on the side, or there has to be some sort of lens that allows me to get this done. So I'm not using my um, light. So obviously, like, the iPhone's kind of adapting to the lighting conditions. I really like that light over there. I like that light as well, but it's giving some sort of a flare. As you can see, it's flaring over here. And I don't know if this light, yeah, this light's also kind of giving a slight flare. So if you block these, this is what it would look like, and this is without. You see the difference? Like, that's cool, right? Anyways, so yeah, I was thinking maybe building like a kind of like a table area over here, like, as I mentioned, and or just getting a temporary table and kind of have a sit down style of videos wherein, like, I kind of like sit on the table, like it's me sitting on the table essentially, and speaking to the camera. Because, okay, you know what, let me just tighten these screws on my tripod because I don't want it to fall. Yeah, so because if I were to maybe set the tripod on my table, theoretically this is my table over here, let's say, and let's say this is my chair over here. It's actually not such a great background. It's like just the curtain, and I just want to put something different. I don't know, maybe something that kind of speaks about the creator economy in a way, or maybe about my personality. I was thinking maybe something to do with simplicity and being organized, and also a little bit of creativity. I don't know how to translate that. I mean, I know how to translate that. I think I'd probably need to put some stuff behind, but the way that my room is set up won't allow me to do that, because I would need to kind of you know uh, do some stuff over there and kind of remove this bed over here, which is kind of taking away most of the space. So yeah, just a random video, no particular intention, just making it for fun. um, and you know what, I am gonna place this camera over here. Oops, I'm just gonna mind that. I'm just gonna just pull my lamp. you know this is also like um kind of a scene or setup that I could use, and kind of gets a little bit of my desk and also myself essentially. However, I do know, like, in talking face or face to cam videos, I would kind of have to be a little bit more zoomed in essentially, but I think I can always do that in post. Let's be a little bit more creative over here. You know what, let me close that door. Draw this curtain, and let me get this light projected somewhere over here, right? Yeah. Um, and that kind of looks a little more cooler. Maybe I would bring it down a bit, right, like that. So it's kind of like a halo. Anyway, I'm just gonna try to adjust it in a way. So it looks like a weird halo, but that's fine. And what if I turn the main ambient light off? So now you kind of just have um, very cinematic, and I kind of like it. It looks dramatic. It looks like it's silhouetted. It looks like it's kind of focused in a way, and I can kind of pretty much make sure I look in the camera and just speak what I want to speak. So yeah, one thing I have realized is that maybe I should start scripting and doing researching before scripting more often, because that kind of helps a lot with with whatever content you want to be delivering, and always keeping in mind who the audience is for your content, because um, you need to operate out of the mindset of your audience usually when creating content, to make effective content essentially, which will allow you to gain that particular audience or following. But so whenever you're creating content, it's usually you're thinking about the audience. Right now, this video that I'm shooting is not necessarily for anyone. It could probably be for people who are maybe curious and who want to know a little bit more about my life, but nothing beyond that. Maybe it could be for creators who want to see my journey of how I started creating content, and that this could be one of those videos, but you never know, and I have no intention behind the video. So yeah, I just wanted to like just record this random video because it was just a thought in my mind of setting up a nice space. I do now have a new kind of what you would say, a let me loosen this up over here and let's loosen this, yeah, a new whiteboard right there. That's a new whiteboard. I'm gonna point the light to that. So that's the new whiteboard over there, right there, here, this thing right here, and this is my existing whiteboard, and this is my trusty tripod, right? So this is another place where I can, sit and do my content. Usually my light is on my whiteboard over here because I feel it looks cool, and I don't know if my voice is very audible because I'm not using the microphone, but this is also a really nice setup. But for what I've understood is that your setup really doesn't really matter a lot. It's actually the content that you kind of create that matters a lot, because if you're trying to attract a particular set of people or an audience, you really want to think about what do they want to hear, or what value or information could benefit them, what could you show them that could benefit them, what could they hear that could benefit them, what could they learn that could benefit them essentially. So you really got to think on that perspective. Now when I say benefit, this word might be a bit vague. People usually come on social media apps like Instagram to get entertained. Even on YouTube, majority of people who use social media come to get entertained. It's a source of entertainment. There is a small fraction of people, I'm saying small, but don't take that small is not small, if that makes sense. But there is a fraction of people who come to get knowledge and information, come to learn things, right? Apart from the people that want to get entertained. So but then they're looking for specific information or specific knowledge, and you gotta cater to that particular type of audience by thinking about what would they find valuable. So it's kind of like there are people that exist on social media that want to get certain parts of information, and then there are people who can supply this information, who are people who are well known in that particular area or niche or industry, who can package this information into content. And when I say content is different from just saying things or like just putting things out. When you're packaging something for content, it's a little bit different. There's kind of like a slight structure to it, I would say. I mean, you don't need to put a structure to it, but a structure always is better, because that kind of is what works, and will allow even a layperson, someone who does not know much about um certain things, to kind of absorb it much more easier. It just like how communication is, right? There's encoding, then there's the transmission over a medium, and there's decoding, and there's feedback. um, if you're able to apply a good content structure of packaging your information and making it contentable, like making it content, uh, you would get that feedback, and that feedback is engagement, right? Which is your like, shares, comments. That's a source of feedback to you that this content or this video or this piece of information, could be a static post, is working, simply because people are liking, sharing it, and um, saving it, or whatever the action is that they're taking. Maybe they are DMing you. That's a sign of what you're doing is being someone is finding that valuable essentially. So and you can choose to keep doing that, or and explore what more does this kind of audience want to know more. And if there's one person who likes it, there are going to be 10, 100,000 people who might also find it valuable and might like it. So that's kind of how I that's how you should kind of think about creating content. I would say, which is, try to make it for one person that likes it and finds it valuable. Because if there's one person that finds it valuable, there's a very sure chance that there are many people that like that person, that will find it valuable. And how do you create valuable content? Or let's just come to um, the topic of how do you create value, right? I feel there are some common ways to create value, and I think the way you can create value is help people save time. I think that's number one. Help people save money. And thirdly is help people make money, right? So if you're either able to do any of these three things, people find that valuable, obviously. um, I would call that primary value. A secondary value would be helping people save time, money, and make money, but also with an experience. Like if I'm able to save time with an experience, or save money with an experience, that's value. I would say that's good enough value. I would also say there's one more thing that comes in after secondary is tertiary, which is save people time, save people money, with an experience and with a community. If you're able to save me time with an experience along with a community, which is the social kind of being, that's valuable, because human beings are social animals, and we kind of like to be around people that are like-minded, essentially. So save people time, save people money with an experience and with a community, that creates value. um, there's one value that tops off everything else, and we call that innovation, which is creating something that didn't exist before, and people didn't even know that they want this thing. Like the iPhone, essentially. People didn't know that they would want or like the iPhone before it was even invented. So that's innovation. Electricity, um, electric vehicles, the iPhone. There's innovation, right? There's a layer of things that can be built on top of it also, and etc. etc. I'm not going to get into the deep depths of innovating and innovation, but you get the gist, right? So now, coming back to content, how can we make valuable content? I always like to think about, first, who am I creating it for? Secondly, what can I I tell this audience that they would love to hear and they would love to pay me for? So what piece of information can I give away for free that someone would easily pay me 500 to 1,000 rupees? Maybe 500 rupees, okay, or maybe even 100 rupees. What kind of information can I give them? What kind of value can I give them that they would happily pay money for this information? That's a good way to start with thinking how you should create content, right? And to give you a few examples, it could be maybe a process of how something works. It could be maybe an infographic of a particular industry. It could be your own mistake and failure, and how you got into that failure, and how you kind of, found a solution. Because then you're helping them save time from going the same step that you went through that ended up in a failure, and you help them avoid and save time. You get the gist, right? um, Saving money could be maybe giving away something for free, could be like a freebie, um, like a free checklist, which is simple, a free ebook, which is not very simple to make, but now uh, with AI generative tools like ChatGPT, you could, kind of create kind of like the base of um, your information and knowledge, and kind of just use ChatGPT to package it up and, make it finessed essentially. So yeah, AI has helped is going to help us with being more efficient and productive that way. But yeah, um, you can pretty much create content out of anything, and you could build an audience using the power of social media. I mean, this is very very common information. You don't need to listen to me to know this, but I just wanted to create this video for people who might be in that headspace or mindset of what content do I create, where do I start, um, do I have to speak to the camera, do I need to copy this style or that style. Can get a little bit tough and complicated at the start, I understand. Me personally, I kind of overestimated, um, or was too proud of myself, you could say, when I was just getting into content creation. It's like, oh wow, I run, I've been running a company. I'm a designer. I'm a video editor. I've created content for other people, other brands. Done it for a long time. Gotten paid for it. I'm sure it's going to be no problem doing it for myself, right? But here's the thing, right? When you do things for yourself, is you face certain mindset blocks, which is, oh, I don't sound good. This does not make sense, and your own creativity kind of hinders you. Your own perfectionism kind of hinders you. Especially, let's say, if you're designing and editing your own content, you're going to think twice or thrice, like at least for me, with, is this font the right font, or is this color the right color? I feel we should use this effect, and I kind of and ended up, I would say, spending a lot of time in the ideation and planning, and trying to plan it so perfectly that it's something that will satisfy me and the viewer. Now, no doubt, putting in time and effort to make better content will result in better engagement. People are going to see the difference for sure. There's no doubt in that. But if you're just starting out, I would recommend not doing that. And the reason I'm saying that is because your body and your mind just needs to get familiar with doing a certain task or a certain thing. Just like going to the gym, right? When you go to the gym, you don't directly start picking up, you don't directly start bench pressing. You start off, probably with stretches, with warm-ups, maybe with push-ups, then move on into, your basic dumbbells, weight training, and I mean, you kind of progress to that, and you definitely don't build muscle on day one. It takes time, and it takes some effort and time to get familiar with certain things, right? And only once we get familiar, we kind of establish kind of like a platform, a plateau, okay? That familiarity plateau allows us to kind of stand and now upgrade, okay? Stand and upgrade to the next level, which is, okay, we've made 30 pieces of content, just face to cam, no editing whatsoever, maybe just slapped on captions, simple as that. What now, from these 30 pieces of content, which content has performed the best? Which content piece has someone commented the most, or has got the most amount of likes and the most shares? And what you can do is, when you have data, right? So data never lies, as you all know that. When you have the data of anything, you can use that data to plan and make better decisions. And with that data that you have of just making really simple content, not only are you familiar, but now you also know exactly what's going to work and what doesn't work. In that process of making those initial sets of and pieces of content, you also have learned in the process of what are the things that you like speaking about, what are things that you don't like speaking about. You learn who is kind of your audience, you learn a lot of things. And that is why being more familiar and consistent at the start is more important than trying to make one particular perfect piece of content. You're not trying to build a masterpiece on day one. You're trying to layer it in. You're kind of just doing it for yourself, just for you to get familiar of creating content. You're not creating it for anyone. You're not creating it for getting money or building an audience or followers, nothing. When you're first starting off with creating content, you're doing it for yourself, for you to see whether this is something for you. Is this something you're comfortable with? If it's for you to get familiar with the process. And once you're familiar with the process, you unlock that superpower of creating. And once you're familiar with the process of creating, you can create so many things. Imagine the imagine the ideas that you get once you are on the next level of creating content, when you're on the next level of familiarity of I know how this works, I know the process, or I know the steps, right from creating ideas to scripting to shooting. I know exactly what it is. It becomes muscle memory at a point, right? Just like how when you go to the gym, you pretty much have a routine of what you do starting and till the end. It becomes a routine automatically. Same way with content creation. And that's just my personal experience with creating content, especially face to cam. I think I've spent way too much time planning, way too much time trying to make it look good and perfect, way too much time in the editing because I'm an editor and I'm a designer. Kind of I'm a perfectionist when it comes to creating content, just because I've done it for clients and try to maintain a certain set of quality standards. But it's very different when you're doing it for yourself. And it's not a bad idea to get help from someone else, from a third party, from someone who knows a little bit more than you. Sometimes it could be a content creator friend, it could be a buddy, it could be a coach or a mentor. I mean, however, I wouldn't recommend uh, hiring a coach or mentor at the very start unless you are familiar and a little bit more serious about it. So yeah, I like how this video is just transitioned into my journey of content creation and what I think people could do to ease their mindset when creating content. And I hope this helps. And if you need help with creating content, then shoot me a DM on a video company or edit with EM. Those are my two handles that I have. A video company is basically creating content for content creators, and Edit with Ian is my personal brand for content video editors, which is video editors who learn the art and science of content video editing, which is a little bit different from your traditional video editing. So if you have any questions or doubts with content creation, maybe we could chat, and I hope I could help you out. If I have content existing on any of the pages, please feel free to visit them and take a look and see if that helps you out. Otherwise, I'm happy to help you out if I get the time, and see where this goes. So cheers and have a great day. Signing out.